Hello there, people of the internet. My name is Udwur Jagero, and this is Dialogues with Jagero. I am with the founding father of Dialogues with Jagero.
Founding father. That's brilliant.
Matheka.
Yes.
I cannot thank you enough, bro, for the way Midnight Nas. Have you listened to that song?
Yes, I have.
The Midnight Nas.
Yes.
Shindano. Yeah. You put a syringe into Dialogues with Jagero, and it was still at the very infant stage.
Hey, I'm glad to know. And after we all need each other.
We all need each other.
Oh yeah, we all need each other.
Yeah. So thank you very much. I always thank those guys that believed in me. When I first reached out to you, I did not know that you'd even respond to my message.
Right, and I did.
And you did.
Yes.
And you showed up.
Yeah.
And here we are, 60,000 followers later on YouTube, 300,000 followers on TikTok.
Fantastic.
290,000 on Facebook. And people know about Dialogues with Jagero, thanks to good content from you.
Thank you, man. And your questions are good. So
yeah, they call you the vagina whisperer.
Yes, they do.
The man who women love you, bro. Men not so much. Men.
Well, there are those men who follow me quietly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I've never not said that I passionately want women to enjoy their sexuality. That's my thing.
And the problem that men have always had is that why is it dependent on us?
Well, I've never made it dependent on you. And that's why I condition vaginas. You haven't seen me conditioning a penis, have you?
Yeah, started on a high note.
I condition vaginas, not penises.
By the way, a lady from Bosnia asked me on a WhatsApp,
okay,
what you exactly mean when you say you are conditioning vaginas. Okay. Are you touching it?
Yes, I am touching it. I have to touch it.
How do you do it? Ebu, explain to me what without.
Funny enough, I have a feeling we've gone through this before. However, it's very simple. She needs to be naked. I need to take her through her vulva.
Yeah.
Which means that I need to take her through her G-spot, which happens to be within her vagina. And she needs to be at a comfort level where I can direct her to start stimulate her G-spot. Unless you know where your G-spot is, you're not understanding how your sexual function works. So I have to take you through it. This is not something I can teach you on a blackboard. If I did that, it will take centuries. Probably won't work. But if I take you through your vagina and you literally are able to touch your G-spot and cause it to have spasms, then you leave the session with oh, I didn't know my body could do that. It's like, for example, if I'm trying to invite you to eat food, unless you taste the food, there's no way I can convince you it tastes good. True or false? So in terms of our anatomy, there's no way you can trust me with the fact that if I teach you something and I'm using a blackboard or some notes and you just go home, magically things are going to happen. You have to understand how your entire vulva works. So you've got to understand. I mean, some women they've never touched their clitoris. So they don't even know the feeling of touching their clitoris. So if she gets to a point where she can actually flick on her clitoris hood and she gets a sensation, you're like, wow, I didn't know that happens. Why? Because you'd find she was probably reliant on a sexual partner rather than being reliant on knowing her own physiology. So that's what vaginal conditioning is. It's me teaching you how your vagina vulva works.
There are women that are going to say,
yes,
oh, well, I don't want to visit a man and I am dressed before her. That's not really nice. That's not really Christian. That's not good.
Yeah, but you see,
that's not.
I can only teach those who want to be taught. Do you see what I'm saying? I've had, very rarely, I can't even think of the last time somebody asked me that, but I have had a woman ask me, is it possible to visit a female sexologist? I said, yes, it is. What I am not aware of is anyone who does what I do. I don't know any woman who conditions vaginas.
So let me put it into perspective.
Yes.
You could be ill as a woman, and you
Could
go
be
to-
ill.
You could be ill, and you go to the hospital and visit a gyna,
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And there are things that the gyna will do to you, and I don't think people have a problem with it.
Who's
Right?
people?
Well, people.
Isn't it between you and the guy now? Why
Yes.
are people's opinions?
Yes.
important?
I'm telling
Yes,
you, I'm
yes.
coming back to what you do.
Yes.
Because I started by saying I want to put it in perspective. People will not have a problem with a gyna inserting her fingers on a woman and checking them out and doing that, but they will have a problem
Yes.
with a sexologist
Yes.
doing that.
Who is people?
There are lots of people who have a problem.
Yes,
For
but guess
example,
what? Those people are not going to be my clients. I'm sure there's a lot of vegans who don't like meat. You won't find them at Kenyatta Market eating meat. That's not even the target market for Kenyatta Market. You see where I'm going with this? I'm not worried about those who don't agree with what I do. I just want those who would like their vaginas conditioned to call me. And they do, every week. Jagero, I've said this before. I'm not here to convert people. I'm here to say, this is what I offer. Do you want it or you don't? What people care about, to be honest, for me, I don't give a shit.
I think it is important.
Jagero, if I cared what people thought, I would not have chosen to be a sexologist. All I care about is I better get better at what I do, because what I do is sensitive. When a woman flies all the way from Namibia to come and see Matheka, he better know how to condition that vagina. It is a cost to her. She'd have to fly here. She's had to book a place to stay, food. It's a cost, true or false?
True.
So if she goes back to our country and says, oh my God, Matheka, he has no idea what he's doing, how does that look for me?
Bad.
Yes. So I've always made sure that I'm good at what I do and that I'm good at. That you cannot take away from me. So the fact when you tell me there are people who are not comfortable, first, I'll never touch their penises. And many of them have dicks. So I'm never going to touch their penises. You know what I'm saying?
Come slow.
Yeah, no, I'm not coming slow. Jagero, one thing I've told you about me is I've lived life long enough to say something is just bullshit. All of us have a niche.
Some of those women that you flip,
All of us have a niche.
some of those women that you flip their vaginas have got husbands, and they might not be okay with you.
And guess what? Some of those husbands will meet me in a bar or some social place and go like, Maurice, thank you very much. Thank you very much. He has no sexual struggles. His woman is having an orgasm. And I always ask the guy, if she was not having an orgasm, would you search for somebody who did? And they always say yes. Listen, I've met too many men, chinyamaji as they say, they follow me because they've understood what I do.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? It's not my job to satisfy women. It's my job to teach them how to have satisfaction in their sexual realm. Does that make sense?
It does.
These same men you're talking about, and they're the same ones who are calling me as individuals to tell me, Matheka, I'm struggling.
Yeah.
I've had sex with my wife for 9 years. She's never come. What this guy is saying is, I'm getting to a point where I'm tired. It's a routine. She removes her clothes, I remove mine. I get on top of her, I hump. Somehow I feel the ejaculant coming. She's nowhere. So what that guy is saying, if they were leaving to go to Mombasa, she's in Syokimau, him is beyond Voi. By the time he gets to whatever, she's not even thick at Lukenya. That's a struggle. How come no man wants to talk about that? It's a struggle.
Yeah.
So what does he do? He goes and samples with others thinking she has a problem. All women by default do not have a spasm like G-spot that swells. It's my job to train it how to swell. That's the most unfortunate thing about vaginas. Us by default, we have an ejaculant action. True or false?
Ebu, start explaining that theory properly. I think you need to explain that very, very well.
What?
Start from
Which
the
part?
The spasm and the ejaculant and all those things.
Okay. As men by default,
Okay.
we have a shaft, which we call the penis.
Okay.
And within that shaft, we've got pockets that fill with blood. And those pockets, when they swell at some point, our entire shaft becomes sensitive to touch, to our own touch, hence why we call it masturbation. Or when we penetrate a woman, her vaginal gland and the tissue within starts to massage us. And at some point, we can ejaculate. That's our default makeup. True or false? True. Now, women don't have that in terms of their orgasm. However, us men have been told, magically, once we start penetrating her, something magical is supposed to happen in her vagina, and she's supposed to come. Hence why you've got all these men asking, have you come? Are you coming? Am I big enough? Can you feel me? I mean, if you had all these answers, you'd not be asking. If you had the answers, you wouldn't be asking, correct? So it's a struggle.
Yeah.
I know the male struggle. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't do this to compete with men. I do this to help the vagina. This vagina at some point is going to meet a man or a woman, depending on our sexual orientation. But what I care about is the fact that she can come back to me and say, our session added value to my sex life. That's my drive. That's my drive. Boss, as we sit here right now, I've seen 6,601 vaginas. Something has to tire a man. My drive is the fact that I'm able to get that vagina to be happy. If that drive was not there, then I've seen enough. Do you know what I'm saying? I'd rather go fishing.
You've seen more than 6,000 vaginas.
Yes, 6,601 to date, right now. A question I get, especially from men, is, aren't you just tired of seeing it? The answer is, I'm not tired because I still have the drive and passion to empower a woman with that ability.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? But if it was just about sex, I'd be tired, boss. I'd rather go fishing.
We are going to go into our...
For real, I'd rather go fishing.
Are you taking water or you put something in the water?
I'm taking water. Next time I'll put some konyagi.
Because I'm starting to believe you are not taking water. Now,
yes.
I want you to be serious. I want you to be serious now, Matheka.
But I'm serious. This is as serious as I get.
It is. I know.
Yes.
I know. I know you're serious. But
yes.
I want you to be serious.
Okay.
And
let me put on my serious face.
Yeah. So I think, Matheka, is that the world is nuanced. And for people who have got questions,
yes,
they need to be answered properly.
Okay.
So somebody might be asking, is that there is the ethics around gynas and how they do this thing.
Yes.
A man who wants to allow probably his wife to go and see Matheka.
Allow.
Oh my God.
He has to allow her.
Oh my God.
See,
I think. Okay, let me take back that.
And guess what? I don't handle that process. That's between them. I don't handle that process. You think I'm ever going to ask somebody for permission? Wow. Since that's not even part of the process. They call me when they're ready to have a session. They don't call me to ask me, do I need permission from my partner? And I'm talking about both men and women, because I do have male clients, not as many as women. I don't hear a man telling me.
I'm going back to that question.
Yes.
And ask it a different way. But maybe let me just take two steps back.
Yes.
And ask this. Your phone rings.
I'm what? Yes.
Your phone is ringing.
Yes.
You pick it up and say, "My name is Jane Doe, and I have looked at I've seen what you talk about. I've seen what you do, and I'm very interested because we have been struggling for the last, let's say, 13 years in our marriage.
Yes.
Yeah. On my side, things are not good. I don't know about my man, but I want to come and see you.
Yes.
Do you think I should be able to discuss this with my husband before I come to you, Mr. Matheka? How do you answer that question?
I usually tell them that's up to you. It's not up to me. I deal with vaginas. Your husband doesn't have a vagina. When your husband calls me, I don't include you in the conversation. It's not my business. I'm not going to make it my business. Yeah. And then there's a word you used, ethics.
Yes.
To me, ethics? Ethics. Oh, God. Ethics.
What does that mean?
I'm not driven by things like that. I'm not driven by morals. I'm driven by what I'm good at. They don't need morals. They're not fueled by morals.
Talk to me about morals.
We're living in a world, or rather you are inferencing a world where I should care about what people think. It's not, you see, the thing is, they're calling me. I'm not on national TV telling people, this is what should be standard. No, no, no. I give out what I do. Those who are interested respond. It's a very simple system, Jagero.
Okay.
What I'm not going to do is follow societal norms, because even my own clients, even the ones who hide behind the church, they're doing some freaky shit in Naivasha.
They do.
I've been there when they're doing it. Even I, as a sexologist, who is very liberal, I get to a point where I was like, God damn.
God damn.
The Nairobi version of you versus what I'm seeing here are two different people. So what I do know is some of my clients who hide, who have many faces during the week, they're kinky and freakier than me. And I'm one of the most open people I know. There's little that can surprise me. But once in a while, I get clients who, if you meet them on a Monday in their corporate attire, very different people. When you go out of town with them, you're the one going like, I don't feel safe. Ooh, goddamn. What is going on here? You see what I'm saying? So Jagero, this society you're talking about, many of them are hiding behind some screens. They're who they are when they're with family. They're who they are when they're with somebody else. And I've worked that out because I've just like you, I've met so many humans. So I've learned to take Jagero the way he is on Monday. But when I meet Jagero on Saturday somewhere else, he's the one to tell me, boss, whatever happens here, stays here. So the Jagero you see, the version you see of me this weekend, please, on Monday, never refer to it. I've understood what you're telling me. You're living a model life of, depending on where you are, you have to behave a certain way. I know how I have to behave with my clients. I know what they want. I need to deliver it. And I do it very well.
I want to ask you, we are going to go into, relationship in the office.
Right.
That's where we're going. But we are still backgrounding a little bit.
Okay.
I want to ask you why men come to you. Then I'm going to ask you another question about your own life.
Yes.
Yes. And then we are going to go into dating.
Men come to me, not all, but majority of them come to me when they've hit rock bottom. Rock bottom for a man is his sex life is interfering with his marriage or his friendship or his connection with his wife. So rock bottom is Matheka, my wife, I think she's lost interest in me, or I've seen some suspicious texts between her and a male or a few males, or there's a guy in our office she seems to be spending a lot of time with in terms of they go out for lunch and stuff like that. I trust her, but I have a feeling all this is connected to the fact that we've disconnected in the bedroom. Now, Jagero, only a certain type of man is able to pick up that phone and share that with me. The one thing I validate is he has the maturity of trying to solve the problem. Do you see what I'm saying? He's not telling me that I found some suspicious text and I want to blow somebody's head off. I'm saying I am also part of this problem. Do you see what I'm saying? That's a maturity a lot of people lack, both men and women. So my job is to evaluate exactly what kind of session would be able to help him. I'll give you a very good example. Last month, I had a guy who just wanted to understand, and this is what he told me. Boss, I just want to understand the vagina. But my wife is not going to be part of this because I cannot have that conversation with her. But whatever I want to learn for her. The same way just the other day I posted on Instagram about a guy who just said, you know what, please, I'll even pay for the session, but just transform my wife's vagina. Like we're struggling. Only a certain guy will contact me to say those things. And I respect those men. Because beyond the whole ego thing, they're saying, if there's a solution, why not? Matheka is not going to be coming to our sitting room. Once we're done with these services, we fuck him off. And that's correct. So now, when this guy, we had a session with him, and I come with a female model, and using the model, we take him through how the vagina works. And he gets to understand it. And he actually gets to see how a woman's inner vagina, in terms of the G-spot, is conditioned. He gets to see the female model, who was consented, obviously, to the session, how the vagina works. And he gets to actually cause her to squirt. And there's no intercourse required. He just learns using his fingers. Obviously, he goes and washes them first. And she also, because I've trained her, she also guides him. Because she's the feminine there. Me and him don't have a vagina. Otherwise, we would not need her. So she's very critical to this session working out. So at some point, she's able to guide him. Do you know what I'm saying? Yes, I've got my instinct. I know, where he's going wrong. But he will listen to her easier than listening to me. He's not ignoring me. I mean, he's paying for the session. So that will be, not beneficial to him not to listen. But at the end of the day, when he leaves there, he's able to go home and tell me, "Wow, it worked, Bana. And Madame is very happy. Look at the way you're smiling." So can you imagine how that guy is feeling? My job is done. My job is done. My job is done. So unless you're trying to tell me society also does not want women to enjoy their sexuality so that men and women struggle more. Do you know how many people have told me, "You saved my marriage"? That was not my motive. I was saving the vagina. I indirectly or directly saved your marriage. Fair play. But the vagina became happy. That's my core. Do you see what I'm saying? That's why I always say it's not my business who you're having sex with. My business is, are you having sex that gives you satisfaction, that's worth removing the clothes? Do you know as you get older, you have to remove clothes for a reason? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's energy removing and putting them on. Even showering is energy. So if the sexual stimulus is going to be minimal, see, we just cuddle, watch a movie and sleep.
What a complicated organ, the vagina.
It's only complicated depending on perception. But once you get to learn her, once you get to understand what she likes, then she's the most beautiful creation ever. Yeah. And that's why you and I as men, we love her. True or false?
Yeah.
Exactly. There we go. So why aren't we helping her? We need to help her.
I agree. How complicated is it?
It's not complicated. Well, I've done this for a very long time, so it's not complicated for me.
Okay, if a man if somebody, a novice,
yes,
comes and asks you, "Matheka, give me an overview of the vagina."
No, okay. I don't know if you've noticed, but every time you ask me that question, I struggle to ask it because I've gotten feedback from so many people, and especially women. They've told me, even when I talk to you on the phone and you try to explain how the session would be, I've realized until I experienced it, there's no way you'd have described it, because it's her experience. It's her body. It's her vagina. Do you see what I'm saying?
They're different.
I'll never explain to her how she's going to feel. She's the one able to tell me, what you described was so minimal, but what I've gained is so much. So if women are telling you,
the question,
until I had the session, whatever you try to explain,
the question I meant to ask
is
not how to please the vagina.
Right.
Is the structure of it. Like a lot of people don't know the G-spot, the word, where is it, why is that, why is that.
Okay.
A one-on-one.
So
on history, on anatomy lesson.
Okay.
One-on-one. That's what I want.
Okay. The most important parts are, assuming this was a vagina. Up here is the clitoris hood.
Up where?
Up here. Here.
Okay.
Here. Somehow I have a feeling up can't be here. So up is here, yeah? Yeah. So up here. So up here is the clitoris.
Yeah.
And I'm doing my best to turn this into a vagina. So up here is the clitoris. Then on the sides, you've got your labia minora. They call it wings, lips, all types of things. Then just where the labia is, you've got your vaginal rim. And inside, just below that, there is the urethra. Urethra that she pees with, the way we have a shaft that has a urethra. Then below that is her vagina rim, where the penis usually goes in. We're together so far?
Yes.
Yeah. So within that shaft system, 2 to 3 inches, depending on a woman's body size, is a membrane that inflates when she's aroused. But for most women, it never inflates. That's why she's not able to have an orgasm. How I would describe it is, as men, we have an erection, which can gain us an ejaculant at the end, correct? She, by default, does not have something that swells. But the G-spot can swell. But when you teach it how to swell, like for example, many areas in Africa, before Africa was colonized and stuff like that, and most of our sexual camps were killed off. And then we came up with modern religion and stuff like that. And a lot of African culture, especially in the sexual realm, was dented. We used to have these camps because we realized by default that G-spot membrane does not swell by itself. It only swells for 1% of women around the world. 1%. And it's only 1% who can say at least 8 out of 10 times they can have an orgasm. So the 9% who can have an orgasm, because 90% of women around the world will never have one, they had it either by chance, by fluke, or they were dating a human being who just would influence and arouse them to the point where they could have an orgasm. Hence why sometimes I find women who have been in marriage for a long time telling me, there's a guy in campus, or there's a guy when I got my first job when I was still young and I hadn't met my husband, who used to make me come, which means she used to have an orgasm. But since then, she's now with a husband who cannot make her come. Now, the variables there is, it can be as simple as that other guy's technique worked. What the technique is, she doesn't know. Even that guy may not know. It may just something to do with the fact that his girth and her inner vagina, when they intertwine, something happens. Whereas with her current man, it doesn't. However, when her vagina is conditioned, it's now not dependent so much on a particular guy. It's dependent on the fact that the vagina knows how to react to the stimulus. Because not all men are going to be equal. You see what I'm saying? However, the disclaimer is this. You can't upgrade your vagina to a Ferrari status and you still have a tuk-tuk driving kind of guy in the house. It won't work. It's as simple as that.
That brings me to that. I think that is, you should now explain what you mean by not all men are created equal. What does that mean?
Not all men have the same penis size, penis girth, penis texture, skin texture. It's not the same. It's not.
How do these factors of influence?
Okay, first, assuming this is the vagina, we're going to turn a lot of things here into vagina.
Yeah.
So this is an inflamed vagina. So it's, and assuming there's something that's supposed to penetrate it, yes?
Yes.
If it's going to penetrate it, it should hold the walls, correct?
Okay.
You see what my hands are doing?
Yes.
You see what I'm doing right now? See what I'm doing? Yeah, it should basically hold the walls. Now, if you have smaller girth, you'll feel like you're floating.
Okay.
Because of your girth. And that's why I've always said girth is important. So
Girth is the circumference.
Yes. So if the girth is rubbing against her vagina wall, that friction and self-lubrication of the vagina, or maybe you're using a lubricant like Slide, that should cause her to feel, because there's something within her. It's like somebody massaging you. You can feel them, so she can feel the penis. And that's why sometimes you find a woman saying, out of 3 men I've slept with, one guy's penis, I could feel it. The other guys, I could understand why they kept asking me, can you feel me, blah, blah, blah. Because there's just something that's not aligning. Yes, I know he's there, but his skin texture versus my inner vagina tissue are not aligning. It's like, for example, if you go to different masseuses, there's one masseuse who's going to give you an amazing session. The rest, you'll be like, okay, they were okay, but that one, there's something magical about their hands. So there was something magical about this guy's girth. Not that his girth is bigger or his penis is bigger, but there was just something about the way his girth fitted within her vaginal channel that made her go like, oh. Whereas the rest can't, regardless of what they try. That's just it. And guess what? It applies to all of us. You sometimes sleep with a woman and you're just not the right match. It's not that you're bad in bed or she's bad in bed. It's just when it comes to our inner vagina tract and your girth, they're just not aligning. Sensitive things to talk about, but they're just fact.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is.
I can imagine the audience were, whoa.
Yeah, but guess what, Jagero? Now let's talk about those men you're talking about, yeah?
Yeah.
Us as men, we know ourselves very well. We've sampled women, so you're able to know that there's a woman, you entered her vagina, and you are like, oh my God, where is this? And then there's another woman you enter, your penis starts sending you text messages. Ukuni wapi, boss? Umetuleta wapi, seriously? All these struggles for what? As in, it's not aligning. She's hot as fuck. But your penis is saying, we are in distress. I don't know where the hell this is. And there's nothing wrong with her. It's just the pairing. The way we pair, this is not pairing. It's just not. You're even calling Ubers, yet you have a car.
I can imagine.
Because of the confusion.
I can imagine if those two were to get married, the ones that are not pairing.
Yeah, but guess what? A lot of married people don't pair.
Really?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
They don't pair.
Tell me about that.
Because it's as simple as this. When people are getting married, the boxes they tick, sex is not one of them. Sex becomes a thing in the relationship. Especially from my experience, from what I've seen with women, many of them have told me when I was younger, Matheka, I would not have been your client. Not because I don't need you. Sex was not such a priority. And I was in the bubble of, I want to have sex with my man, we're in love, blah, 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 blah. But since that notion, her vagina has been telling her a different story. The way you love this guy is not the way we love him. Nothing wrong with the guy. It's just you guys just don't pair. And you probably have never. Because I've had women tell me, I thought I was enjoying sex with my husband, but I was enjoying the idea that I could. Now that I'm a grown-ass woman, I cringe when he tries to hold me. Husband has got nothing wrong about him. Nothing. There's probably a woman who, when his girth hits her G-spot, she screams. But now the wife, she's like, he does nothing for me. So they don't pair.
That's a disaster.
No one likes talking about that, but that's just it. It would be wrong for me to assume, just because of my skill set, every woman I sleep with is going to have the most amazing time of her life. If our anatomies don't pair, they just don't pair. It's like the way you can be chatting with somebody, and maybe you had one video call with them, and you're so excited to meet them, and then you eventually sit down and have a conversation with them, and within 15 minutes, you tell yourself, oh my God, I wish I didn't cover this date. Why? Because you're not gelling. Nothing wrong with you, nothing wrong with her. You're just not gelling. The excitement was in the texting. The excitement was in what was driving you was the illusion of, wow, this person must be so exciting. But the minute you meet, you realize, wow, we're so not connecting. We're so miles apart. And there's nothing wrong with you. There are other people you'll pair with. But now, unfortunately, we live in a world where you can't know who you're going to pair with. You can't. It's a trial and error thing.
Surely, Matheka, what happens then if they realize that this is the case? And this idea of women maturing, then realizing that they did not tick the sex box.
Not they did not. The box was not there. The box only ticked. You see, as she's getting older, her interest of sex peaks. Her vagina, as I've said before, becomes absolutely sweeter. That's just fact. You're not going to take that away from older women. Never.
For people who did not hear our last conversation, bro,
listen,
you need to refresh the idea of as
for
women.
early bloomers, it's as early as 29, not that often, where now your entire vulva structure matures. All your nerve endings, everything, sensitivity, even your own arousal goes up. We were taught that the best sex we're going to have is when we are in our youth. Maybe when we're in college, university, whatever. And from my own experience and from other people's experience, that's crap. But especially for women, they mature sexually when they get older. Whereas for us guys, if we don't take care of ourselves, we start to decline. So when she's getting to about 35, because that's when now there's the peak, between 35 and 45, those are the days when now our eyes are opened. Now her vagina is telling her, please snap out of this love bubble. Your conscious mind has told you how much love you're in, but we're not loving what you've been dishing to us. So it's the vagina telling the woman, this is not what I signed up for, or what you signed me up for. I'm done. And that's when she's able to call somebody like me and say, like, I know I have a potential, bring it out of me. Do you see what I'm saying? Then the orgasms she was not having before, now she can have them with her husband. But even these references of titles, she's not having sex with her husband, she's having sex with a human being who just happens to be male. You know, the vagina will never know this husband or boyfriend. The same way your penis does not know you have a wife or you have a girlfriend or side chick. Those are just titles to identify people. But our sexual body responds to stimulus. Do you see what I'm saying? She had given up on sex. But now that she has been conditioned to be able to enjoy it, now she's able to say, my sexual sessions at home have improved. Even he's happier because he's not having to ask all these funny questions. Am I big enough? Can you feel me? At some point, he almost got fed up. Now he's the other side. He's the man who calls me to say, Matheka, I'm about to give up on my wife. I think her vagina is broken. It can't be me. Because unfortunately, with most men, it's never the fault of the man, it's the fault of the woman. Jagero, true or false? True or false?
There's some truth there.
Yes. I like speaking the truth. Sometimes it rubs people the wrong way. Pun intended. But it's the truth. So many people are just not vibing. They're just not interlinking. When you have somebody tell me the energy, this is a man, the energy I have when I'm out there, when I'm in my Naivashas and my Zanzibars and my South Africa, the energy I have, Matheka, I don't have that energy in the house. Nowadays, I've even noticed my penis looks smaller in the house. But in Naivasha, it looks humongous.
Mandingo.
Yes. I have a feeling it's not there.
Why is the penis smaller in the house and a little bit of a bigger size in Naivasha, bro?
Because of lustful sexual energy. At home, you're reliant on, depending on how long you've been together, at home you're reliant on a factor of being obligated. I have to give sex. And this is both the man and the woman.
Yeah.
I have to give her sex. I have to give him sex. So it's not induced by some excitement. What does excitement do to the penis and the vagina? It causes more blood flow. All men, whether they agree with me or not, have to agree that our penises run on excitement. The more excited we are, the more blood flow. Simple science. Simple science. I don't know any guy who tells himself...
If there is excitement, then there is a little bit of flow.
Yes, there's a little bit of flow. And that's how you find a woman saying, I think my woman's vagina has become a mutaro. No, it's not become a mutaro. Your penis has become a Stedler pen. Your excitement has reduced. So the blood flow to your penis is smaller. And that's why you become flaccid. So this is something men will describe it to me, but women describe it all the time. Matheka, when he's aroused, he gets an erection. The minute he's inside me, I can literally feel his penis girth withering. What's that saying? Isn't it said that every man wants to have sex all the time? Every man wants to be in a vagina all the time. Then why are so many penises in homes entering vaginas and becoming flaccid? Totally losing it. Totally. The man cannot explain it. The woman will start thinking, oh, Kwani, did you have sex before me? Why are you tired? Is there somebody else? Don't you love me? All these questions come from the fact that if people just understood the science of some times when we're together, if we've made our sex too obligational, our body functions will start to wither.
How do we
She will tell you in the office, she's so aroused when she thinks about her husband. She's aroused. And the one thing about women is they do actually want to fuck their husbands. But now she's so aroused, but when she gets home, even the way this nigga gets on top of her puts her off. He's not aware of this. The way he starts to thrust like he's fucking himself puts her off. So her mental capacity when she was at the office, this guy was fucking her like a god. He was the Zeus of vaginas. But the minute she got home, it's some guy who's like throwing sardines into some bucket. He's offloading a fishing vessel.
What has happened?
What's happened is...
We don't understand what has happened.
Yes, what has happened is they've gone to that point where their imagination supersedes the delivery at home. Do you see what I'm saying? At home, it's very mechanical sex. It's become mechanical. No fault of anyone, just circumstances. As Kenyan said, tumezoeana. They're used to each other. It's become obligational. You're in the car driving home, you're talking to your penis. Please, today, just get up for all of us, for harmony. You might even go through a chemist for the blue pill, which could kill you, instead of you taking herbal stuff, which most men don't even study. Why are you taking the blue pill? Because you think the blue pill, it will add to the fact that I'm not feeling it. If I'm having to beg him to get up, there's something wrong. And what's wrong is the seductiveness of how you used to look at her. She's become too much of your wife, too much of a house manner, too much of a... You friend-zoned each other. And that's why I say these titles sometimes, if you take them too seriously, they start killing the sex.
Which ones?
Husband, wife. Especially these, and I can only talk for myself. It just irritates me. You know these women who refer to their husbands as Daktari. You know Daktari, Indian Daktari. But your vagina is saying, fuck Daktari. A guy can't cure shit downstairs. What are the titles helping for? If she was calling him Daktari, and she's feeling him over here in her throat, then I give her that nigga, what's up, nigga? What up? You know what I'm saying? I want to be you when I grow up.
I hope that you're enjoying this program. Over the last 15 years, I have been working online for clients in America, in Europe, and all over the world. And that is why it pains me a lot when I see a lot of African brothers and sisters saying that they do not have a job. Now, this is the problem. A lot of people are trying to look for a job in 2024 in their own town, in their local area. Now, the truth is, there are no jobs in Africa, at least not so many jobs. The good news is that we have internet these days. We have a tablet, we have a computer, we have a phone, and that means that we can do a lot of jobs, and those jobs are online. That is why over the last 4 years I've been writing a book that is called Digital Goldmine. It is a book that explains to you how you can earn money online. The 18 hustles that I've chosen are basically for Africans, because what happens when you are doing online jobs is that payment is usually a problem. So these 18 side hustles that I have put together in this book, you can be paid very well and very conveniently. Okay, so the book is only 1,000 Kenya shillings. That is about $10. You can buy it in Kenya using pay bill number. You can buy it online from anywhere in the world using a credit or a debit card. All the information about this book is in the description below. And if you have a brother, you have a wife, you have a husband, you have a friend who is sitting at home and watching Netflix, please do buy this book for them. If you are the one sitting at home and watching Netflix and have nothing to do, please buy this book and your life is gonna change forever. Because I have been doing this online and I've been traveling and I've been enjoying myself and having a lot of fun. So thank you very much, and now back to programming.
Matheka, why do people cheat?
Well, let me start with my version. Cheating only applies to those who believe in monogamy. I, for one, do not believe in it. So the word cheating was designed for those who subscribe and then they do not behave in accordance to the rules of monogamy, then they're called cheats, hence cheating. Those who bend the rules, one, that, funny enough, let's talk about men. Can we do that?
Yeah.
In your opinion, let me ask you, why do you think a man cheats?
There we go.
They're different. That's a good answer. That's a good answer. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, episode done. I think the glass has confirmed why. Yeah, so why do you think men cheat? There are different reasons, but...
Yeah, I think looking for something new, something more exciting, curiosity.
Okay. How do you know it's going to be exciting? It can be equally boring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe promise on a text.
Okay. Okay. Now, what are men built of? What's a driving force for us? It's a very short word. It starts with E.
Ego.
Yes. All of us are about ego. True or false?
True.
We love our egos pampered. Now, at some point, I'll tell you based on my work. I can tell you based on me being a man and experiences, but I'll just tell you based on my work. I've had so many men tell me, especially if I'm conducting some therapy sessions because of the word cheating, I've had so many men tell me, beyond the excitement, beyond the new that you mentioned, I cheated because I realized a long time ago, I was just in denial, that I've never satisfied my wife. But what she has done to keep my ego going, she always tells me, babe, I came. Babe, you're amazing. Babe, you're the biggest. Babe, when you touch me, no one has ever touched me like this. So what are women trying to do? Safeguard their men. But at some point, he realizes when she's moaning, and this is just scientific fact, they've tested it, when you're faking a moan, if you were to look at the waves of the sound, it never changes. When you're having a natural moan that you're not in control of, the waves change because you're not in control of it. But when you're faking, so assuming I as a man, I'm known to moan, but I'm faking a moan. When I'm trying to fake it, I'll fake it tomorrow the same way, next year. So I'll just be there going like, and it'll be the same sound. So at some point, somebody will be like, unless you're having the same orgasm, there's no way you can sound the same all the time, which is fact. It changes, depending on the stimulus. You can't, like what the hell? It's like you're on a loop. You can't do that unless subconsciously, you know that you're faking it. So the sound will be the same. It's going to be very hard for you to tell yourself, okay, now I'm going to behave like an AI. I'm going to change, fluctuate. No, that's too tiring. You'll just make the same sound. So this man, over a period of time, has realized she fakes it for me. And I cannot acknowledge I know, because I don't know how that conversation will go. She's been faking it for me. So I can't tell her she's a bad person. But I also don't want her to know that I know. Because the minute I know, I don't know what that version looks like for her. I don't want to hear, which could be a possibility. I don't want her to tell me, Aki babe, I'm so happy you know now. Because I've also struggled. Like, I'm done faking it. How bruising will that be for a lot of men?
Very.
She's not a bad person. If anything, she needs to win a Nobel Prize for all this faking for years. Can you imagine doing for years? Like, who does that? But women are doing it to safeguard men.
What does safeguarding men actually mean?
How would you feel, because this is years, within the first few months or the first year of sex with your woman, she just sits you down at some point, not necessarily doing the sex, and just says, Jagera, you're just not doing it for me.
Just crashing.
You might not even have an erection for her. True or false? Yeah, so women can foresee the future. She can foresee faking means we have harmony in this home. He leaves here bolstered that he's rearranging my vagina, which he's not, and life continues.
At high expense?
But if sorry?
At high expense.
Yes, at high expense. Because women are willing to do that for us. Jagger, I don't know any man who is based on love, if you told any man based on love, I want you not to come for 2 years. Penetrate your woman, yes. But when you feel like ejaculating, hold back or just remove your penis, chill out. When you feel that sensation is over, go back in. Every time you feel like ejaculating, don't let it go. And do it for 2 years to show your love for a woman. How many men are going to do that?
Not me.
Men have faked it. Women have faked it for 30 years because I've met them. They're my client. I've met a woman who has faked it for 30 years. I've met a woman who's faked it for 35 years. I met a woman this year who is 74. I taught her how to squirt. She's not had an orgasm all those years. Now she has 2 boyfriends who are slightly younger than me. Imagine 60, 70 years of seriously.
That is dramatic.
You and donkeys are competing in sound effects. For how many years? How many men can do that? So sometimes, Jagero, when I hear you telling me, there are men who do not agree with, fuck those guys. Don't come for 2 years, then come and have a conversation with me.
Come slow, Matheka.
On that point, I need to drink this water like it was Scott. Jagero.
Anyway, you are going on with your explanation why people cheat.
Yeah. So when a man starts feeling that he cannot satisfy his woman, he has to go and perform his conquest and come home and say, I conquered. Did he satisfy that other woman? Probably not. But that's not it. It's a fact he conquered. Matheka, last year, I bedded 12 women. Hooray to me. If he does not have that dose of ego boosting, it will crush him. But guess what? The one who will call me and say, I'd rather not go for this option. Can we just deal with this vagina in my house? That guy is happy. Do you know why? Expenses of Airbnb, traveling. Sometimes you'll travel somewhere to meet somebody, then you realize you're not in sync. You've driven from here to Eldoret, or you've flown to Eldoret, or wherever you're flown to. Can you imagine flying to Oslo for vagina? And you get to Oslo, and you realize the only thing that's thrilling is the fact that it's cold. And maybe you can see snow. Because your penis and the vagina are not syncing. Those are male struggles. I know guys who have driven long distances only to get there and realize, God, this was not worth the effort.
You hate your journey back.
Yes. Now you start putting sad songs or rock and roll, which you don't even listen to, just to get your mind off the fact that, I can't believe I drove for 6 hours. You're not blaming her. You're blaming your excitement. You're blaming your perception of, she must be amazing. Do you know what I'm saying? How do men respond to texts? It's only our species that can receive a text, and the text says, my vagina wants you, I want you inside. And you drop everything you were doing. Everything. Fuel the car and drive. Only to find out it was a dude texting you with a pseudo account. Now you're in a Isiolo. What do? The ego tells you, let me pretend I came here to look for farms to buy. Or you go to the nearest club to find a conquest. And this is not a story you're going to share with your boys. Dude, you drove to Isiolo to see a dude. Yeah, but the text was so real. Yes, but those were texts. Did you do a video call? No. They send you images of vaginas and nipples, which they can download off the internet nowadays. How stupid can you be? But our drive. How many women do you know will receive a dick pic and drive anywhere? You could be next door, but she'll tell you right now, I got shit to do. Let's meet up. See what happens when we meet. If we gel, we gel. If we don't, she's not in a hurry because you've sent her dick. But us, the men, we just see a nipple. It's a nipple. And if you zoom in nicely, you realize this is a Caucasian. The person you're going to meet is a Sudanese. Why didn't you profile this shit? Jagero. Me understand humans. That's why sometimes when you ask me some questions, I'm just like, Many people are living pretentious lives. Many.
Are we?
Yes. Double lives. There's a life of family and there's a life of the things, the thrills that I like.
So why have a family then?
Because it is the conveyor belt that everybody needs to follow so that you can be relevant in society.
What do you mean by a conveyor belt?
It's a system we follow.
Which one is it?
When we're born, what's the next thing that happens? We have to go to school. There are even laws that tell us we have to go to school instead of staying at home or being schooled at home, correct? Depending on which country you're in. Then after schooling, what's the next thing? What's the next stage that you must do? Get a job. You're even not persuaded to do a business. People are not told to be jagueros, but you're telling people that they can be the next jaguero. They're told conveyor belt. Study, get a degree, whatever it is, qualifications, get a job. Once you've got a job of a certain age, the same people who are telling you stay away from boys, stay away from girls, are the ones asking you what question? Where is he? Let her home. Where is she? Bring her home. Now they're giving you an indirect license to fuck. It's a conveyor belt. That they want you to get married. So we all changa towards your wedding. We come and eat your food and your cake. Then we bitch that the food was not enough. We bitch the cake was too sugary or not sugary. Conveyor belt. Then all the people who told you, "Aw, you guys look amazing together. You are bound to be together." The minute there's a whiff of problem in your house. See, after the wedding, everybody has fucked off. Now it's just the two of you in your house or apartment, whatever it is. Now the minute you tell one of your friends, "Imagine Jagera had me," who told you to marry him? Same person who said, "You and Jagera are what? Soulmates. I've never seen a man that lights up your eyes the way he does." What happened to all those showbiz guys? Now they become enemies. Now they're like, "Oh, we saw Jagero talking to somebody where he was looking for work. He had even told you." Who are these Mushene society? The same persons who held your hand and said, "Jagero, thank you so much for marrying our sister." Now they're your biggest enemies. Jagero. It's a conveyor belt. Then we do the kids, we do this, blah, blah, blah. We get used to each other. Once we get used to each other, when you go and tell your friends, "Oh, you know, things are not working, blah, blah, blah." Especially if she goes and tells her girlfriends, who are at the wedding, who said Jagero is the best thing since sliced bread. "Oh, you know, I don't know what it is, but I'm not connecting with Jagero anymore." You should have asked me. I don't even know why you married him. What the hell? She's the same one who calls you or texts you and says, "I was just checking on you. You're such an amazing man." Wow. But when she's narrating it to your wife, "You're not an amazing guy." Conveyor belt, Jagero. Conveyor belt. If you don't watch out for it, it's a system we follow. Then the kids have to be in the same denomination, same church. It's a conveyor belt. We're forced to do these things. Not everyone needs to be married. Do you know how many souls I've met who are in marriages, both men and women, who are not suited to that setting? Sometimes we say marriage is a scam. I believe that. But if you look deeper, the scam is not the marriage. The scam is you've not investigated these two human beings that you're telling to sign up for this crap. They can't manage it. When I meet today, when I'm dealing with Gen Zs who are getting married, I can tell you Gen Zs at least are practical. The number of Gen Zs who have called me to say, "You know what, me, I've been married for less than a year. This is not what I signed up for. Me, I'm out."
Ruto must go.
Yes, Ruto must go. Invade my house, chase somebody. You know what I'm saying? Because they're saying we can't use the same formula and expect different answers, different solutions, different results. It's not working.
Do you think that?
And you know what she's saying?
Yeah.
"I'm a Gen Z, my dude is a Gen Z. But now he's behaving like my uncle. He's left me in the house." Maurice, he found me clubbing. He found me having a drink socially. He actually told me he admires the way I am. He admires my fiery self. He admires our adventures. Now adventure is me sitting in this house by myself. Watching what? Nadio Wild. I'm not that age group. Maurice, if your age group watched Nadio Wild here because of boredom, me, I'm out. And by then she leaves. or he leaves. That's where they're at.
What is she
They're
gonna
not-
What's she gonna watch out there? Rugby.
She's probably not into rugby. But what she's saying is, I'm not signing up to this bullshit.
Yeah.
Only to now be your client 18 years later to say only 3 months of my marriage were happy, but I've been there for 18 years. So they're practical. So we need to review marriage and the human beings that are signing up for it. Otherwise, it's not going to work.
How do we review it?
That's not my department. It's not my department. I could sit down and think of things, but it's not my department. Right now, let me just dwell on keeping vaginas happy. I also don't want things that are going to stress me, and then I'll need therapy myself. So let's keep it mild and fun.
That's gonna stress you.
Me, I've always said if I had to be if I had to be a main guy and a side guy, I think I have more side guy qualities. Yes, because side guys, their job is just to have fun. The job is to maintain relevancy.
What is a side guy?
He's usually on the side. The reference is on the what? Main guy has responsibilities, true or false? Bills.
You mean the husband?
Yes. You see, you want to call him husband. You see, conveyor belt again. We have names for these dudes. Conveyor belt. Side guy, what's his job? It's like a delivery service.
Yeah.
Yeah? It's like Uber Eats, Glovo, it's called Bolt, whatever. Yeah, Bolt Foods. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather be that guy. Do you know why, Jagger? Just the other day, I was having a conversation with women. And I was like, I've heard it before, but it terrorizes me as a man, even though I've heard it so many times, when women say, I'd love to have a threesome, but not with my man. I want 2 strangers who I'll never see again, but not with my man.
That's dangerous.
Forget dangerous. Me, I'm already that man. I'm already in the man's shoes. So I'm seeing the guy who's being omitted from this project is the main guy. So I don't want that title. I'd rather be side guy. If side guy is going to end up in Nyanyuki, we're doing that. If as a main guy, my job is to get home at some hour after some pub crawl, I don't want to be that guy. I want to be the guy who is called for threesomes. I don't want to be the guy who heard from a third party about threesomes, and then I start fantasizing when I'll have one. No. I would like us to have that connection where we can have it together. I'm not going to hold my breath because of our cultures and traditions and things that we hide behind, but I don't want to be that guy. It's as simple as that. I can see how you look at me. And guess what? A lot of men watching this know what I'm saying, but we're such bullshitters. We're double standards. All of us want to have fun, but we want to obscure how we're going to have it.
We are not going to come to the comment section.
Jagero, man, you know what? Let's just be real. Let's just be real.
Hey.
Let's just be real. And you see, Jagero, the people I meet is because the social and sexual realm is important. There are people on this planet who I'll never meet. Their lives have other priorities. So they'll never meet me. But the person who takes sexuality as a sport, you're going to have a lot of challenges. Because there are a lot of players in that game. A lot of players.
Hebu explain that vizuri. Hapo kidogo nimepotea.
For couples,
Yeah.
who are trying to be functional as a unit, husband and wife, and part of this is at some point you're intimate, there are so many players, especially if you're the person who likes going to clubs. All these Tunnel, Street Quiver, Street Ware, Street Black Star, all these places where people congregate to have a drink and see who's where and what are they wearing and who's driving what. Jagero, it's not guaranteed that your woman or even yourself will not be lowered by somebody. It's not guaranteed. Regardless of what you offer. I've been with guys who have money. But regardless of how much money he is, he's next to me crying because of a woman. Because of a woman. I've had women call me to tell me, my husband's side chick died. Should I also start crying with him because I don't know how to deal with this guy? Should I show sympathy?
How does she know about the side chick?
You think women are stupid? Do you actually think women are stupid?
They know shit.
You leave the house smelling kidogo like sweat. You come back smelling of tutti frutti. You think when you're going laying on flour somewhere. You're oblivious to the fact that you've walked into your house smelling of flowers. Or you have some lipstick over here. So unless you went to a show where dolphins were wearing lipstick, how did it get here? And it's always here in the corner. Or somewhere over here. You've gone see it, but she can see it. Women have this microscope. She can find a hair in your car that even your cleaners can't find. What's this over here? Like, what the hell? She's like a forensics expert. I don't know where she watches CSI or something, I don't know, but...
There's a friend of mine that we went to a meeting. But we can always treat this conveyor belt properly.
What does that mean properly? What is that?
Like with good knowledge, not having too many kids, being careful.
The other day I met a lawyer guy who told me for him to be a man, he has to have 6 children. Then I asked him, can you afford them? He said, that's not important. What's important is I have them. The affordability will take care of itself. You're thinking like that in 2024 when we have such a president in power. Are you joking? First, the production of children, we need to slow down in Kenya. We need to. We need to. Really? Especially these children that are being born out of the fact that we went to watch some rally in Naivasha. It's not making sense. You know, when you were ejaculating inside your semen did not know you were on holiday? Or there was some rally event?
We are having too many kids in Kenya?
Yes. We're popping too many of them. Too many. And we're not popping planned kids. I know. You see, when you're in a marriage setting and you agreed we want to create a family and then you just happen to have sex and she conceives, that's fair enough. But even yourself, when it comes to affordability, maybe when you get to your first kid, you need to discuss, can we afford a second one, third one, blah, blah, blah. That's not the people I'm talking about. I'm talking about, we decided to go to Mombasa Road because there's a new quiver there. And me and somebody decided to quiver each other. And then later on, what happens? She tells me that she's pregnant. We met at Quiver. Whatever we did was because of that place. Neither of us were ready to start raising a child, leave alone producing it. And then she tells you, I'm keeping it. Ooh-wee. I don't know who you're going to sue. Quiver, that's something. Somebody needs to be sued. Someone. You see where I'm going with this story? There's too much of that happening. And even if you tell guys to be a bit more lenient on that side, they won't. With the influence of a bit of this, and then you're good.
Do you think that is creating more problems with society and sexual satisfaction? Because, I mean, if you have 10 kids, you're going to be worried about those kids. You're not going to be worried about...
Well, the one thing it's doing is it's allowing humans to be in a place where they resent each other enough to either beat each other or kill each other.
How so?
How many cases of women being beaten or being killed by a partner do we hear? The few we hear is not the magnitude of what's happening out there. And some of those stresses are the fact that you didn't plan well. My ego told me my grandfather had 18 children, so I should have 6. But my bank account is telling me you shouldn't be having 1.
You shouldn't.
Yes, be having 1.
You shouldn't be having any child.
Right now, no. Have 1 when you can afford 1. See, they have to eat. They have to be clothed. Diapers. Boss, there's an all arrangement here. At some point, not too far along, there's going to be school fees. Savings. What? Blah, blah, blah. Now I'm telling her to stay in the house so I can go back to Quiver and quiver somebody else.
Do what?
And quiver somebody else. Why do you think guys have multiple baby mamas?
It's becoming a pandemic.
Yes. So we need to slow down on the production. Men are not going to like this, but I'm waiting for the day when science gets to a point. I know they're working on it. I'm waiting for the day that science gets to a point where we are the ones taking a pill to slow down our semen potency. We'll still be able to ejaculate, but the semen will not be able to create a child.
Forever or once you stop taking the pill?
Listen.
Okay.
That's a weird question. Women as it is are already taking all these injections and whatever's, and that's not forever. When they stop it, at some point, they can have child. True or false?
True.
All I'm saying is this, and guess what? The Masimbas out there understand what I'm saying. Now there'll be another pandemic. The minute a man knows I can ejaculate as much as I can, and you see why you're laughing now? You see how you've looked at it now? Everything stays the same. Everything stays the same, but she can't get pregnant. Matheka, are you telling me that this pill may even increase my semen volume, but its potency is so low that it cannot create a child? When it meets that egg, it just self-destructs like Mission Impossible. Dude, sign me up. Niggas are going to be ejaculating everywhere. In the ears, nose, it'll be a mess. That will be another pandemic. But that one we can deal with. Because that one just needs a cleanup. Now guys will be buying pills for semen volume. How much you can ejaculate on somebody's face. That's a good problem to have, rather than having 12 children. And then you end up quarreling and killing each other over them, or killing the kids themselves. That's happening. So I, personally, to all the scientists out there, I will be your guinea pig. I'll be the first guy. I'll take it. Or I'll take it for the team. But when I give you guys feedback, you'll be the happiest guy. Look at the way you're laughing. Because mentally you're already there. This guy must be onto something. He's onto something. He's onto something. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. That way you're not going to be ejaculating and then you send a message in your head. Immediately you ejaculate, you see a vision of group of schools. That will end. Because how many men, you ejaculate in a woman and you're thinking, oh my God. Wow. Why does that feel like we've just conceived? How many men have been through that? Enough. But now there's a pill. And we also give women a break. Do you see what I'm saying? Their hormones are all over the place because they're taking shit so they can have sex with us. They're being jabbed here so it can stay there for 3 years, 4 years, whatever. And then our hormones are everywhere. And she's bitching in the house and you're saying she's a bitch. She's bitching because of this. If you take this away, her hormones are balanced and she goes back to being, oh my God, you're calm and collected. Yes, because this freaking thing that I was doing for you was turning me into a maniac. So we also give the women a rest. And we take the pill. Boss, I'll be taking them like tic-tac. I'll be your guinea pig. Science, use me. I'll be a guinea pig. For all men, I'll do it. I'll do it.
Thank you very much, people of the internet. This was Dialogues with Maurice Matheka. I called you Motua Matheka, but you were so pissed off.
Like, how could you call me that? Seriously.
Come back.
I was wondering, what the hell is going on here?
Come back, brother, is ready.
We'll be back.
We'll be back to talk about sex in the office, relationships in the office.
Yes.
Yeah? Until another episode. Bye for now.